Hello everyone. So I'm gonna say this and then I'll say it again when people start watching. Sorry I'm late. I was working on getting stuff ready for a number of videos, like 14, 15, whatever videos on my other channel. And obviously, and I got like literally to just a teeny tiny bit away from finishing. I had 1.5 things to write down when it was time to go live. And so I wanted to hurry and finish that before I went live. So that's what took so long and why I'm starting so late. Oh, sorry about the tapping. I just remembered what Goddess Diana said, but also one thing, so you are aware, I found out not all of the Foundables follow that rule. I have had some Foundables that I've gone after, and they have not banned I'll tap it at that beginning part, and it won't go away, and then it finishes. And actually, I am able to catch it. So, some of the Foundables it works just fine for. Others it does not. Hi, Steph. Sorry I'm late. So I was saying, when I first got on, I said this, but I'm going to tell you again. I ended up trying to finish out some stuff so I can work on some videos for my other channel. 14 or 15 videos. And that I can use for my Rumble channel too. So, when it was time to go live, I had one type of EDS, one or two types of EDS left to write. And so I wanted to make sure I got them written before I came out and went live. So now, hopefully when I get home, I can do a whole bunch of recording and go from there. Okay, Community Day will be Room of Requirements registry page. Then we will have a Brilliant event. Good. The 21st to 28th. Okay, double checking that. I thought I had all assets, but I wanted to be sure. So I went out earlier today, and I'm not going to bother claiming that right now. I'm glad I got the one I did. Anyway, so I went out earlier today because I went to go get gas. And so most of my tasks for today are already done. Because I went over the hill. Because gas is cheaper, is almost 30 cents cheaper in Brigham City than in Logan. And so I figured out that it's whether I get it here or get it there, with the travel, it's about a wash. But I get the chance to go after horned serpents if I go at dawn or dusk. So I got one horned serpent this morning and a bunch of doxies. So that's why you'll see some of those tasks are already completed. So now I'm headed to, I think we'll head towards Willow Park. But it feels good to have had the brain energy today to do what I was doing. So what it is there's a paper they wrote on the different types of EDS. But it's a scientific paper. And I want to be able to break each type down with what the characteristics are, what you're looking for, different things like that. And I've got HEDS done, but that's the only one I've gotten done. And there's like 14 types total. So I had 13 types to do, 13, 14, something like that to do videos on. Maybe 15. I can't remember how many exactly. And I'd done some of them. So what I was doing was I was taking what the paper said and I was translating it into more regular language. Obviously, a scientific paper is going to use scientific language, and that is so hard for people to understand. And that was one thing I've heard over and over and over and over is, what? I can't understand this. What the heck does this mean? And so, where I actually kind of like reading scientific papers, I totally understand what they're saying, or at least the gist of what they're saying. I have tried to break it down, take that and then break it down and put it into layman's terms. And so that when someone wonders, they will actually have a resource they can go to or refer others to with specifically how to diagnose what things are in the diagnosis. So, but to say the least, to be able to do that takes a lot of brain power, because you're taking it from, if you understand the scientific, well, your brain has to be able to understand it first of all, which can sometimes be a little bit harder. It doesn't take quite as much thinking for me as for some people, and it takes a lot less than for some people who totally have no clue of it, most of the terms, and so would have to search up most of the terms and everything. Have the scientific background, would also understand it, can be very difficult. And so as I'm doing the videos, because I want to put all the videos out in a row. I don't want to do one or two, like do it here or there. I want to literally just go through it. And so, and I may redo my one for HEDS after I do these. We will see. But at least being able to do this, get them done so I can put them out to help people out, that's my goal right now with that. But yeah, as I said, it took a lot of brain power to do that, so I have not been able to even think about it for the past past couple of months. I've thought about it, but not really been able to consistently work on it. And I did have some of them done already. Just I had to finish off to then be able to do the videos. Now it'll be a lot less brain power or anything doing the videos. I just have to kind of read and understand what I wrote. Which I don't think is going to be that difficult. So, that's where I'm at there. And why I'm actually pretty proud of the fact I got it done. I started about 10 o'clock, I think, and I had maybe half of them done, so I was able to do more today than I think last time I sat down to do it. So I think that's pretty cool. And it actually shows that I'm getting better. So my daughter did stay home from school today, so there's that. I didn't end up having to run her, but my son went to school, so I will need to pick him up. Well, I seriously don't want to, and here's my thing, I don't want to get my levels high faster than I need to, because then you get those higher level rune stones, and yeah. Say the least, I don't like the higher level runestones as much. I'm getting to where I don't think it'll bother me quite as bad. Oh, I don't even know why I'm trying to go after stuff. I actually should pull over and check my gifts. Okay, we still have room for gifts, so that's good. Where was that extravagant from? Okay, I got that last night or another night. There, get rid of some of those. That way when I do get one that a gift that I want to give to others, let's see if it shows one of them. If I go after these. I've seen that. Doesn't mean I can't try. So I have a question. To do taxes for someone, do you have to be registered in that area? Like, would you have to, if I were to ask you to do taxes for me and pay you, would you have to, and I'm not saying you'd want to or whatever, it's just a question. Would you have to live in Utah, or is it just, what's the difference? Because I know you said you did accounting, but right now you're not registered in Arizona. Hey, it's actually a pretty warm day, so guess what? I'm actually going to get out and walk around for a bit. That'll give me a chance that if one of these hiding over here is a good one, then I can go after it for a little while. I don't know what the temperature is, but it's warm enough to go without a coat, even though there's still snow on the ground. Okay, so you just haven't been registered with the government for a while, or is that a different thing than what you are looking at doing? I'm just trying to consider, we have a tax preparer that we've used in the past that we pay a couple $100s to every year, and part of that is some to do with the fact that I've had a non-productive business, but a business for years. In other words, it hasn't really made any money. Once in a while it'll bring in something, but not much. Basically, the one that I'm now using with my YouTube channel and whatever. And I was just thinking, down the road, it might be nice if, when it does start making money, to have you do it. Because it's a LLC. And then I did wonder, and maybe you can help me with this. So my son's... So to be honest, part of the reason I do that way is I know there's a lot I would have missed that our tax preparers been able to catch. But one of my questions, and this is is maybe part of why I'm asking, is... So my son has been on a mission for our church, as you know. We have been sending him stuff off and on, and money, a little bit of money and stuff, but really it's come from donations to the ward and stuff more. So I know with the older one we counted him because we were completely paying for his mission. But with this one, we haven't been completely paying for it by ourselves. And so I don't know how I would count that. I don't think anyone, or I don't know how the church would be counting it. And I kind of don't think they would count it. You know, they would even be able to include it themselves, if that makes sense. Include him themselves. So would I include him on mine or not? And I think our tax preparer could help answer. I'm just trying to do some figuring early, if that makes sense. And debating, because it's getting harder and harder to get with him. Probably because he has been as good as he is. He doesn't have any income, so the church gives him a stipend or whatever, like certain amount of money to use for things, but they don't give him a W-2 or anything. So basically this year he will not have a W-2 at all. Because he left last year in November. And I know the older son, we did count. He had 1 year that he had earned money for part of the year, but then most of the year was out. Or most of 2 years was out, most of the next year was out, and then came home and earned a little bit the year he came home. But this one, the way he's out, he's going to earn See, that's hard. I don't know. So the church asks for a certain amount, but they won't Yeah, that's what I thought. On the tax deductible, or not tax deductible, but so if we weren't doing, okay, nothing here. If we weren't, we've only sent him a few $100s. Let's put it that way. Between gifts and everything. So I know more of it has gone towards, more from donations, but the donations aren't even specifically from a specific person. I don't know if you know the way the LDS church works, but even for people in the ward and stuff, they give it to the bishop, and then the bishop chooses if someone in the ward needs it or not. If they do, then he puts it into the fund for the person in the ward that needs it. If not, it's just sent on to the church, and then that money goes to missionaries who aren't getting any. Well, actually, so at the start of the year, we did put in about $1,200-$1,300, and we've done a few hundred since then. But I think they wanted $400 a month, is what they said was the amount to support him. So if we say we did $1,600, that would be 4 months worth of what the church said. Now, I don't have any access to what's being spent on him or anything. Exactly. We do also have him on our insurance. If that makes sense at all. So he's covered by our health and our dental insurance, and he has had to use those more than once since he's been out. And I do think we've spent more on him than we have on the kids at home. I'm not positive, but between what we deposited and everything, and gifts and the money we've sent to him and stuff, I think we've spent more on him than we have on the kids at home, because we have the food pantry that we use for a lot of our food and stuff right now. Wrong one. Now, I could be totally off on how much we spend on the kids at home. See, that one I clicked after it had started, and it didn't go away, so I had to click it again. Okay. Now let's see if we can go after some other places, some other inns. And then we'll go up and fight in the fortress in just a little bit. The one that I'm going to have someone actually sit down and figure out is my oldest son. So he's been working part-time. We've been covering most of his food, unless he chooses to go out to eat. All of his living at home, etc. He's covered his insurance, and otherwise just kept the money for himself. So if he didn't work, all he'd have to pay us, figure out how, as long as he worked enough to pay insurance, that's all we ask back. So he could work minimally enough to just pay his insurance. And gas if he wanted. So and by insurance, I mean car insurance, not health insurance. Because he's covered by our health insurance too. He's not a Frosty Foundable. Come on, Hagrid. See? That's another one that I clicked it after it had started and it didn't count it. Gonna get the stuff here and then I'll go mention it on our Discord page. Skate park, that's what it's called. My brain. Is slightly fried. In some ways, that's good to hear. That it's not just mine. Okay, I think I'm gonna head towards the fortress. Then I can battle for about 15 minutes in the fortress. And part of me is debating dropping a Barufio's. Part of me wants to hold on to it just because I'll only have 15 minutes, but okay, you know what? I'm gonna run from this, go do this. So of course now it doesn't want to catch. Go figure. Let's see, what's this one? Oh, I do need that. Okay. So does it vary how long you have to live somewhere, live in a state to establish residency? Just curious. Because I know, depending on what purpose, it can take anywhere, I think, from 6 months to a year here in Utah. And I know you were saying something about hoping to be an accountant this spring. But it's possible that the government, U.S. government, has different requirements than than Utah. And so that's what you're waiting for, is the ID to be able to submit everything else. That makes sense. I think here in Utah you can get the driver's license sooner, but for other things, residency and whatever, it's a little bit different, so. I totally get that one. So do you have a better area around you? I'm just looking around for a minute. That's cool. Let's see. Usually that one's a good one. No, wasn't this time. That's okay. Thank you, Goddess. Here's Steph's. Thank you, Steph. Saying that because I'm sure Goddess is going to watch too later. Cool. Needed that one. Oh, cool. Perfect. Now, let's see. Come grab this. And then you'll see why I did that. The rune stone. The highest level of runestone's the preferred, but the runestone is just period the one I can use the most, just because I can use it in here. This wolf's being hard. There's nothing I can do to reduce his strength. Seriously? Okay. Seriously again? Think my time's gonna run out. We'll see. Still have 2. Yep. But I tried. Gotta go get a kid. He's supposed to be out in a minute. And I'm on the wrong side of town. So, I'm gonna keep you guys on. But I won't be looking for a little bit because I gotta get across town. So, it looks like to defeat that one, I either 1, need to become stronger, 2, need to get quicker at choosing potions and everything, or something. I needed to finish off the one that was there and still take out 1 more to win that one. So I needed another minute or 2. And my only other idea of what I might be able to do is to get it so I can drop enough things to be strong from the first, from the first person on. If I'm gonna take that one on myself. But I won't be trying for a little while. The one nice thing and why I'm not complaining and I actually wanted to try it was I wanted to try and get rid of some healing potions. The only times I really use them are in the dark levels. So obviously, and I might use them some in the forest levels, but so the sooner I can get through those levels, or yeah. But you guys saw how many healing potions I have too. Basically, I haven't needed to use them because I haven't gone against the higher levels for a few months. I think the last time I did was Halloween. So I do need to beat that one level tower or dark 4 sometime. Dark 3 or dark 4, whatever, the one I just went after sometime, and then go from there, get my profession up the last bit that's gonna take, we figured, something like 200 red books. That's also part of the reason the highest runes is what I need the most, because then I can go in as much as possible and get as many red books as possible. So going in, I'm going in, one, to complete the challenge pages, but also after as many red books as possible. So my focus on the challenge pages has 2 reasons and 2 purposes. So that keeps my channel status up, but basically it removes a little bit of the stress for me, and I'm just going to try and, when I can, I'm going to do the 21 videos a week. When I can't, I'm just going to say, whatever, I couldn't do it, and go from there. So, because I do need to keep my other YouTube channel going. I'm at 20 subscribers there, 15 on this one, which I'm really happy with. My viewing the viewing minutes is not near as good on the other channel as this one. I can't remember. I figured it out at one point, or just yesterday, how many hours we had. Because when you go in on the smartphones, it shows the number of minutes, not the number of hours. There he is. Let me answer this for a minute.
Yo, who's picking me up?
Me, I'm on my way. Sorry.
I'm not logged in.
What?
Me, I'm on my way. Sorry, I'm streaming.
Okay, well, text me when you're here.
Yeah, it took me a little bit because I went into a hard level fortress battle.
Okay, that's fine.
So I'm over by El Sol, whatever
I'm fixing it.
Cafe Sabor by Jade's.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Kinda had to answer that so he knew what the plan was. Anyway. I think we may be at like 500 hours about. I'm not positive. I know we're getting around 2,000 minutes a month. And I'm pretty sure if I go through and do what I did with my other channel, which was work on the tags and actually get good tags on the videos, it probably would go up from there. So that's that's in the works in the next while for that. I did, and what brought up that idea as I was thinking about it, there's a few things. One of the channels I watch said they hope they don't get fined, and if they do, they'll have to deal with it at that point. And they are a family channel. So there's that. And someone responded to them, well, someone at the FTC told me, and this was their words, told me that they won't go after craft channels and channels like that. They're only going to go after channels that are obviously made for kids, specifically for kids. And I told them, my response to them was, I hope that's true, and it would be nice if the FTC, if it is, it would be nice if the FTC would make that clear to everyone. And her response, she responded back, that came from the FTC. And I ended up telling her, it may have come to you from the FTC, but I know many channels, large and small, have heard nothing about that, and they're worried about it. And they're adjusting what they're doing because of it, because they are so worried about it. So it would be nice if the FTC made it clear to everyone. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I do want to bring up is that some of the lawmakers are saying they need to strengthen COPA and make it even more, make it even harder for someone, basically the ideas of the wording of the law they want to do will make it even harder for someone to have a family-friendly channel on YouTube or anywhere. If we get a chance, maybe when I get home with my son, I will go through the proposed the legislation they're proposing and kind of discuss what my concerns with that one are. So there is a request out now that you contact your lawmaker. It would be nice if they took COPA, and I'm not saying get rid of it, but if the lawmakers were to clarify what certain things mean, I would be more than happy to see that. However, not with this proposed legislation. I would just like to see a clarification of COPA itself in relation especially to individuals creating for something like for social media, if that makes sense. So, turn off the car for a minute. Make sure I unlock, text him so he knows I'm here, and then we'll look at it. There he is. Okay. Here's the House legislation. Prohibit internet companies from collecting personal and location information from anyone under 13 without parental consent, and from 13 to 15 without users' consent. So, that one sounds semi-okay. It would be a little bit iffy. Banning targeted advertising directed at children. revising COPA's actual knowledge standard to a constructive knowledge standard. And here's one of my concerns with that one. So this is what constructive knowledge is. I looked at it. So it exists not in fact, but as a result of operation of the law. Basically, you're presumed to have knowledge of something even if you don't actually have knowledge of it. So the idea of that is, I should know, and here's where the issue comes in. That's saying that you should know that children are, if you even suspect children might watch your video, period, you have to mark it as a kid's video. If you suspect it, so if there's any reason to doubt in the slightest that a child might watch your video and that it might be targeted at children, you have to mark it as such. That means all family-friendly content would have to be marked as for children, unless clarification was there. Requiring companies to explain the types of information collected, how it's used, and etc. Prohibiting the sale of internet-connected devices towards children and minors unless they meet security standards. And requiring privacy display information on their packaging, how information is used, etc. So my issue is this actual knowledge and constructive knowledge in combination with the targeted advertising directed at children and the collecting data. The reason for those is it will basically shut down social media sites that are family friendly, because to be able to market is going to get a lot harder. So that's my feeling on that one. I may have to call him. He's usually out by now. And I've texted him. So I would say contact your legislators. Even just a minute. Hi, David. Okay, bye. Okay, I would say contact your legislatures. In your case, Steph, I would contact your Arizona ones. And I would tell them that you would like to see COPA clarified and made clearer about it, including a way to support family-friendly social media laws, so that, yes, they can't market directly to young children. They have to have the option for parents to give their kids, like, the... What are you looking for?
Well, it's my pencil in first hour, and I figured I might have left it in the car, but obviously I didn't.
Oh, lovely.
That's okay.
One of your brand new pencils. How many did you get? 4?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're still pretty good then.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
just stupid because it was in my pocket. I never used it, and there was never any reason it should have fallen out. Except it did somehow. Just bull, but whatever.
Anyway, so it would be nice if they would list that if a parent allows or if the social media site specifies that you have to be a certain age to have a account, and there's someone who's not that age, but they've already acknowledged that they're that age, that then the responsibility for that lies on the user and not on the provider. Because for YouTube, to have a YouTube account, you have to have a Gmail account. To have a Gmail account, you have to be 13 or older and between 13 and 18 have parental permission. So if a parent has given that permission, then they should know that they'll have the YouTube as part of that. Or that YouTube can go through and say, hey, just go through their users and say all their currently registered users send out a thing like how they send out the yearly privacy policy and whatever. They could send out something saying that no kids are, and you always have to click it, that you've read it. They can make it so you click that you've read it and just say, I am over the age of 13. And then if a parent is clicking it and then handing the device to their child, to me that says that they are choosing to allow their child to watch whatever videos, with the knowledge that they've said that it's for children over 13. And especially where YouTube has YouTube Kids, and they have YouTube Kids accounts. So then it would be on the user and not on the provider. And personally, I think that's what should be happening. Because then creators can create like they always have, and it doesn't matter, because because they would be providing stuff for a site that, as far as their understanding is, if they don't click for this mark, or that it's created for kids, then they're acknowledging that they're creating videos for people 13 and older, or for families in general, which includes the parents. And so they can have a family-friendly site, a family-friendly channel that the parents are choosing to allow their child to watch, and that's their choice. So that's my feeling. I also do believe that YouTube needs to figure it out such that they learn how to market to companies that are for children, how to market their YouTube Kids advertising, rather than say no advertising. I get the no targeted advertising, and have that targeted or have it be, in some ways it is targeted, because you put on those channels, and this may sound bad, but that they can do the same thing. I feel it's only fair that they can do the same thing that TV stations do, and that is in kids shows. They show advertising that's obviously marketing to kids because it's a kid's show. It may not be based on extreme data, personal data, but okay, this is and I do not think that is appropriate. I think it should be that whoever creates the account takes responsibility for determining what age they are. And if a child turns on cable TV, turns on an R-rated show, that's who turned it on. It's not on the cable network. It's not on the show creator. Child goes and puts it in to watch it in the DVD player or whatever. Then that's on, is not through a children's app. And to get a account, you have to be over 13. So in doing so, I'm acknowledging restricted to those 18 and older. But yeah, so that's my take on it. And from my understanding, like I said, best thing you can do is contact your legislator and recommend that if they are going to do anything with COPA, that's what should happen. And I think if they were to hear from enough people, get word that that's what's wanted, they might be willing to take it and create legislation that will do that. But I hate to say this, but I think part of what's happening is Democrats want to control even more what kids are exposed to. And I do agree that there is a point where you don't want kids exposed to some things. But parents should also be I believe that it's not up to the state to completely educate the child. seeing what I can catch before I go in, and while I'm finishing out my time on my burrifios. Okay, let's see. We did this. Okay, after the ones I'm just going to catch. Okay, I will see you guys later. Bye.